Time to get some.
Greetings, life forms, wherever you're receiving us. This is Justin.
And Matt.
And I'm the king of nonsense, Landon Doan.
Woo, woo, woo. It is September Labor Day weekend. It is the 3rd, and this is Nerd News Cafe, episode 61. 61.
Yeah, I'm kind of mad you guys wouldn't let me do it from the hammock.
Well, if you'd like, I don't know.
I know we didn't get those checks yet.
Yeah, we don't
Only
have the
special
hammock.
occasions.
We haven't gotten our hammock sponsorship money just yet, but I feel like you'd be too relaxed. We need you. People like you fired up and energetic.
I have heard that several times. What is it? I like how excitable you are.
Yeah, you bring that energy.
Do I?
You do.
Or is it more of a, I don't know what I'm doing, I'm just going to act crazy until someone figures it out?
Nothing wrong with that. Absolutely nothing
sorry,
wrong
that
with
was Landon's plan.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I like to model my life after that one line Andy Dwyer from Parks and Recreation said. I have no idea what I'm doing, but I know I'm doing it really well.
That is a good line. You should get that tattooed on your butt.
Says I haven't.
True.
Please visit our forums for further details.
For further tattoos that Landon needs.
Yeah, my body's an open canvas, everybody.
That's right. Well, being that it is the first part of September, and we're trying to stretch holidays all across the year now. I've noticed that even before we got officially into September, there were already Halloween candies and things out at the local stores. Pumpkin spice is everywhere.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, pumpkin spice I'm met on, but is having Halloween stuff that bad? Because Halloween rules.
No, it's not. But I really do think the way that we keep stretching out like these holiday promotions, eventually it's just going to be like all year long, all the holiday stuff, free for all.
So it's kind of like being in that circle in the woods of Nightmare Before Christmas. You had all the little worlds it could go to, and that's just what you do. It's
yeah, pretty much.
I'm okay. I mean, I feel like. I don't know that the commerce or the marketing influenced the weather, but I am enjoying our fall-like weather.
It has cooled off. Yeah, September's coming in like a lamb.
Feels nice. Yep.
Which could be a warning sign it's going to go out like a lion. But yeah. Speaking of that, I guess thoughts and prayers for people in Texas. I know we got some listeners out
Seriously,
there.
Yeah.
If you haven't donated to something, donate to something. Those people need
lots
of help.
There's always the Red Cross. I've seen a lot of people donating online to food banks in Houston specifically. So, like Matt said, if you haven't done your part, go ahead and do it.
Harvey's an ass. We hate
Yeah.
Harvey.
Harvey sucks.
What a piece of crap. Now he's in the Midwest, or no, he's up towards Illinois. Didn't he gain through the Gulf and go straight up?
Yeah, I'm not sure where he landed. I know we got some of the
he's still
rain
there.
through here.
Yeah, I was
nasty
going to
little
say I could
system now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to say us in Tennessee. At least here in Middle Tennessee, it rained for about 25 hours straight. So, yeah. Thanks, Harvey.
Yeah. So exactly, we're done with you. We're
That's
done.
right. We're done.
Yeah.
You're fired.
Never wanted you.
No,
That's
don't say that.
You'll not be a guest on Weathercast.
So, all right. Let's try to lighten the mood a little bit, bring a smile to some people's faces. Let's start with a round of let's play our drinking game.
Play our drinking game.
Yeah.
It's always a fun game.
Yeah. Landon, what are you drinking today?
I am drinking water. Not
bulk.
exciting, but our body does need 1 to 2 drops of water a day. I've read, so I'm doing my part to keep my vessel.
I thought it was electrolytes. Is what your body craves.
No, that's what plants crave.
Oh, that's what the plants crave. Sorry.
Yep.
Yeah. I'm drinking the stuff out of the toilet.
I have heard that a small portion of our body is made up of water, so keep yourself hydrated for sure.
Oh, speaking of water, I do have a couple Coors Light on standby. So,
all right,
the Rocky Mountain's best.
And as I was talking about the signs of fall, football kicked off, right?
Yeah, it did.
College football, so fall is here. So keep those Coors Lights cool and ready to go.
Silver bullet.
That's right. Oh, shout out to Howard for taking down UNLV yesterday. They were a 40-point underdog and ended up winning the game.
Good job for them.
That's football season for you.
It's pretty good games yesterday.
There were some good ones and some bad ones.
There were a lot of bad ones too.
Matt, what are you drinking?
Ethiopian coffee from Trader Joe's with Trader Joe's hazelnut creamer.
Nice. Yep, you gotta put that your flavors in there.
Oh, I have to. Yeah, I can't drink black tar. It doesn't set well with the system.
Well, I've got black tar.
Though I do have a funny story about coffee. Why don't you tell us your drink?
Okay, mine is just the Pike Place fresh ground.
Fresh ground, guys.
Ground myself.
He's went all natural.
French pressed it down, and I said, "Bonjour, caffeine."
And I said, "Put on pants, please."
Our pre-show meetings get weirder and weirder.
Yep.
It's good stuff.
There's a reason we don't put Landon with video.
Yeah, we've stopped the video feed.
Because he refuses pants.
You got to take a stand against something.
He does take a stand. That's why we told him he can't have video anymore.
Hey, now.
What's your coffee story?
So my coffee story is my daughter is still doing this flag thing, and they don't get back to the school till around midnight. And I was like, man, I got to stay awake. I'd done a lot of reading. I got engrossed in a book, thing with the pages.
That keeps you awake? That puts me to sleep.
Well, it starts to wear me down as my visual elements work out in my head. And I was getting kind of tired. I was like, man, I'm sure I'm getting tired. And it was like 10:30. I was like, I need to stay awake.
Yeah.
So I put my book down, and I went into the refrigerator, and I saw cold brew coffee in a thing.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, I'll just take a swig off of that. It'll taste awful, but I'm just going to take a swig off of it. And I was like, the caffeine will get into my veins, and I'll be okay for a little while. So I take it, and I take a big swig off of this thing.
That was
and I was
cold.
like, this is god awful. You know what it says on the side of it?
Concentrate. You were like, well, I thought I was concentrating. Concentrate on that flavor. You were hyper concentrating.
So I read some more until I had to go pick her up around about 12:30. So
wow.
Yeah,
that was pure caffeine.
Mm-hmm. It's kind of it's almost like a rally. When you're drinking, it's like, man, I'm really getting where I don't want to drink anymore. It's like time to hit tequila. The same thing.
It did keep you up, so I guess technically it did its job.
Mm-hmm.
So we do have the Trader Joe's cold brew coffee here, and I like my coffee strong, as you know. So I still tend to mix it about half and half with like whatever I put in it. We've got vanilla almond milk.
Vanilla almond.
It's pretty good.
Yeah. It's sweet though, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But anyway, that was
Coffee
probably a shock.
Yeah, it was. It was an awful taste. I'm like, man, who drinks this crap? I'm like, bleh. And I was like, oh well. And then I set it down. I was like, that would be why it tastes like crap.
Mm-hmm. I think the only way you would have had like a quicker impact to the system, you could have butt chugged the concentrated.
Oh, it's true.
Coffee.
I am in Knoxville.
Yeah. Yep. We perfected the butt chugging.
I don't have the funnel.
Yep, we did
set up. Yeah, I don't have the funnel set up.
Still,
you usually need a buddy.
I need a buddy,
and you're going to have to look elsewhere. I'm not volunteering for that job.
God,
call you at 10:30. What are you doing?
That's when you need a close friend.
Mm-hmm.
Very close friend.
All right. Let's segue from butt chugging to the headlines from this week. So, once again, you, my friends and listeners, can go out to our Twitter account at nerd_news_cafe. Take a look at the things we've liked, quoted, retweeted, and commented on. And we're going to start this week with a trio of reboots. So, to kick us off, we did get a trailer for Super Troopers 2.
Yeah,
I wouldn't call that a reboot. It's just a sequel.
Yeah.
But heck yeah, out of the three of these, this one, the three that we're going to talk about, this one's I'm pretty excited about. You guys watched that trailer?
Oh, absolutely. I've watched the trailer like 3 times.
Yeah, several times. As somebody who backed the Kickstarter, very excited to see something actually happening with Super Troopers 2.
Yeah, easy for you to say, buddy. But
obviously, I need more water. Obviously.
Yeah. So the trailer's only like a minute long. But
they get a lot in it.
They squeeze as much into that 1 minute long preview as they can, and yeah, basically after you watch that, you're like, "Yep, this will be good." That's all you need.
The guys are
sold.
Yep, all the guys are back, including Jim Gaffigan getting pulled over.
I know. I was like, yes, Jim Gaffigan.
and then the realization, they're like, have we been doing this for 10 years?
Yeah. He goes, are you going to tell me right meow? He's like, man.
Oh, my God. And even Brian Dennehy is... Wait, no, not Brian Dennehy. Is back as the captain.
I think that's a doppelganger.
Brian Cox.
Brian Cox.
Brian Dennehy was in Tommy Boy. Brian Cox.
There you go.
Is back as the captain.
Yeah. So, did you get any kind of perks for being a Kickstarter person, Landon?
There were some tiers where if I gave more money, I could have gotten, could have
been in the movie for $5,000.
Exactly. Yeah. I could have invested in getting like some of the Kickstarter exclusive stuff, but I did not. I just gave them money because I wanted this to happen.
You were entry level.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
All right. Very good. So that's exciting. Let me talk about a couple coming up and see what you guys think about it. So, they announced that the Crow reboot has landed with Sony. Do you know who they have in mind to be the Crow?
DiCaprio?
Nope.
Leto, because he's mad.
Nope. Jason Momoa.
What?
Going from Aquaman to the Crow. Apparently, he's been attached to it. They're saying right now they haven't seen any reason to think that that's changed because he was attached to it early. But so for now, he's still being reported as the favorite to play the Brandon Lee role.
I think they should let that movie be what it is.
Which is what?
A standing movie of the
just
90s.
leave it alone?
Yeah, leave it alone.
Okay. Yeah.
I know it has this huge cult following, but the more you add to stuff like this, you're going to lose that cult following. People are going to be like, well, now it's just being perverse, and I don't want it.
It's possible. They do say that this one, they're going to, the director has said that they're going to be very true to the source material, so the comic books. Mm-hmm. So, I don't know. It might be a little different take on it. We'll see. But it's. I feel like The Crow was you're right, it's like such a 90s thing, and you kind of need like that grunge soundtrack along with it and stuff.
I mean, that's what it was. It was a time when that was right. I mean, I will say this. It may end up being like the Spawn project. We always hear about it coming. We always hear the looming of we're working on this, we're working on that, and we never see the results of it.
It's true.
Well, I mean, and speaking to that, there might be something to that because you mentioned that Momoa has constantly been attached to this project, and didn't you say we're just assuming he's still attached to it because we haven't heard anything past that?
Yeah, it just says it's unclear whether he's still attached, but there's no reason to believe he's not.
Exactly. Well, and I mean, yeah, like it's a very 90s thing, and there were some like straight to home video sequels that came out in the 90s after the original. But I honestly kind of feel like if they do keep it true to the source material, enough time's passed, why not take another swing at it? Because there's obviously still a fan base for it. I'm not saying it's going to be, Citizen Kane 2, more caning or anything like that. But,
more caning.
But I mean,
The Wrath of Cain.
We got a movie about emojis this year.
Rosebud is what it leaves on your butt.
In an existence where that happens, let's take another swing at The Crow while we're at it.
Okay, let me be my own opposition here. If they do it, no. First off, you're not going to capture the original fans because you're going to have to go full 2018, 2019, 2020, whatever you do with it. You got to fully immerse it in the world you are in now.
So you don't want it to be a period piece of the 90s?
I don't want it to go back to the 90s. Me hear 70 freaking songs from Nirvana that I have happily forgotten. And Alice in Chains and the rest of them that I left with my high school days.
Whoa. Let's not badmouth Alice.
Pump the brakes.
Okay? Yeah.
Let it go. There's one or two.
Sorry.
One or two. You're in radio. You should be sick of grunge to death. You should be wanting to jump off a bridge every time you hear anything from 93 on.
Do you remember what type of radio I was into?
Well, still, but I know they probably had intros.
The hardest rock I got to listen to was that stupid theme song Rush Limbaugh stole.
Ooh.
I will say all those.
Microphone of truth. I am over here on pills, allegedly.
Holy crap! Is Rush Limbaugh on here?
Yeah. Oh, welcome Rush to the show. Rush, what do you think about The Crow?
9% true. Talent given from God. Oh, I hate.
I think you need to sound a little bit more codinged up.
Well, I don't know. I mean, yeah, I guess I'd like to see kind of a modern take and see what they do with it, but we'll see.
Don't reboot it. I mean, it's obviously what it's going to be, but don't try to capture the 90s. I mean, go fully immersive. There better be cell phones in this one. Mm-hmm. So, which I've heard, this is kind of a sidestep, but there is a lot of movies who forget cell phones exist to make the movie work because their movies will not work if cell phones are available.
Yeah, cell phones would solve a lot of problems.
So that's crazy to me. Yeah. I didn't read the article, but I saw the thing. I was like, well, that's funny. Mm-hmm. So
I think they've talked about that on another podcast. How did this get made? They've talked about cell phones being
they've
ignored.
addressed. I think that's what made me look it up was them talking. I was like, really? And I kind of looked. There was lots of movies that are like, whoops, no cell phones.
Shout out to How Did This Get Made? That's a good podcast.
Absolutely great. If you hate or love bad movies,
I think they love hate them.
I think they do too.
Mm-hmm. Speaking of love hate, I don't know if you guys like Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back, but they are coming back again. With a reboot.
I don't know if you guys can hear the eye roll I just did.
I heard it. It was palpable. Now the funny thing about this, I was reading this article. This is on comicbook.com, and it's really just an interview with Kevin Smith talking about, it's the 16th anniversary of Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back, and as part of that, he announced that...
Can we wait 4 more years? Can we wait 4 more?
Make it 20? Yeah. Well, by the time it comes out, it might be. But because they haven't started shooting yet, he just announced the project. Kevin Smith announced it. But the thing that I found interesting in this article was he was talking about how, he's been doing shows for Supergirl and The Flash. He's been directing those things. And he doesn't really, he says, he has fun playing with the DC toys, but he'd really like to go back and play with his own toys. The thing is, he doesn't own any of his properties aside from Jay and Silent Bob. Like, all of those other things that he's done are owned by, I guess, the production company.
So Clerks and Mallrats and Dogma, that's all, like... He can't use that again?
He says, I don't own Clerks, Mallrats, Chasing Amy, or Dogma, but I do own Jay and Silent Bob. Yeah, so it's kind of interesting. So for him to get back into his Askew-verse, I don't know how he says that, Askew-verse.
The View Askew universe, yeah.
Yeah, he has to go back with Jay and Silent Bob. So, but the thing that's interesting about this, it sounds like it's going to be a spoof. It's going to be a reboot that's a spoof on reboots, according to what he's saying. So
I think I've seen those.
They're going to Hollywood. They're actually going to Hollywood to stop the reboot of Blunt Man and Chronic Boy.
Okay, that's very meta, maybe a little bit too meta. And it's like, I know here recently it's gotten cool on the internet to bag on Kevin Smith and his stuff. I'm going to go out on that limb. I still like Kevin Smith. I still think Jay and Silent Bob and Clerks and Mallrats and Dogma and Chasing Amy, they're still funny. So you know what? If he wants to take another swing, we just talked about taking a swing with the Crow, let him. Why not? I mean, say what you will about Kevin Smith, but I think one of the things that Kevin Smith does well is play with his characters, and Jay and Silent Bob were his characters to a T. I mean, it's not Clerks or Mallrats, but it's like, I'm for more Jay and Silent Bob. Plus, we never got our Clerks the animated series movie. I'm still holding out.
Yeah, and actually, part of this article, it said that he was set to helm a Clerks sequel, but one of the 4 leads opted out, so they canceled it because he wanted everybody back.
I can respect that, and it would be. I mean, like a lot of people said, it was hard to do Clerks 2 with the entire cast back. So. I liked Clerks too, by the way. So it might be even harder to pull off a Clerks without Randall to Dante or without Dante to Randall.
Yeah, you got to have the whole crew.
Exactly, yeah.
All right, let's move on to a couple things that Marvel's doing wrong. Because, they've been the ones that have been hitting a lot of home runs, but here's a couple of things that just kind of make you go, what?
What are you doing?
So this weekend we had an Inhumans screening in IMAX theaters. I'd love to know if anybody went out to that, and then I would love to know, do you just have a lot of disposable income that you don't know what to do with? Because if
do you own an IMAX theater?
If so, you could donate to this show. And
were you forced at gunpoint to show it?
I was going to say.
Yeah. Because holy crap, would you go spend $20 to watch the first 2 episodes of a show you're probably not going to watch anyway? I mean,
no.
What have they showed anybody so far that would make them be like, oh, yeah, let's go watch this show that's made for network television in IMAX for $20 a piece?
I haven't understood that at all. I don't. And my thing is, every time they show us, maybe it's just me in the articles I read, but everyone I read, they're like really, really, really pushing how everything looks. It doesn't look good.
No, it doesn't.
It looks awful. No. It looks like something. Speaking of the 90s, this is what this looks like.
It looks surprisingly low budget.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
It looks like high budget 20 years ago.
Yeah.
But Lockjaw looks sweet.
Lockjaw is the only thing that's good.
Just have a show about him.
I'm not dropping $20 to go watch Lockjaw in IMAX.
Right.
I don't care for any of it. I mean, like none of it. There's nothing in it. And I read a thing, and I wish I had posted up on our Twitter, but it was basically saying how Marvel has gotten themselves in a corner with the Inhumans because this one article supposes that it was an answer to why they couldn't use the mutant word. So they invented this Inhumans thing, and it was a whole big thing how they promoted it and tried to be the mutant of with Inhumans. And it just did not work out, and it's not working out, and they're still leaning into it.
Very much
They've
so.
just kind of worked themselves into a corner because they've invested so much.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's almost like one of those things where they're like, at this point, they just have to plow through it.
Yep.
They've been pushing it so hard, and they're like, we got to move forward.
Yep.
They've gone too far to go backwards.
Yeah. It's too big to fail, one of those things. I mean, even though it is.
Oh, it's going to fail.
It's failing.
Well, and I do think there is some validity to what you're talking about. Like, these are the new mutants because, like you said, the mutant word cannot be uttered in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And even in the comics, they've started to lessen mutants and stuff that they can't use in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, the Fantastic Four being another example. And they're really trying to make the Inhumans matter in the comics. And we've said on previous podcasts, it's like they really want us to care about the Inhumans, but I just don't.
No, there's nothing about them that I give a crap. That Black Bolt comic is really cool.
It's cool because it's so different and interesting.
It's disconnected. It's disconnected
but
from the universe.
It's not making us accept the entire Inhuman story.
No, I'm accepting that character. Exactly.
Yeah.
As a singularity, Inhumans is great. As you build a world around that one word, it's not.
I'm just not interested in a royal family of super
exactly.
people.
Yeah, I don't really care. I think we passed. Obviously, King Arthur stories don't work.
Yeah.
So why are we trying to build that in our comic books again?
Yeah.
Though I do want to point out one of the most popular IPs today is Game of Thrones, and that's nothing but royal family after royal family.
But a conglomeration of them.
Well, and I would say too, you're mixing in zombies, which people love.
Yeah,
and dragons, which people love.
Spoiler alert: zombie dragons.
Zombie dragons.
That's what I'm saying. There's so many elements in Game of Thrones. You don't have any of that in this. You don't have not even one of those in this.
You just have a teleporting dog,
which everybody loves and would rather see.
There needs to be a Lockjaw comic.
That's what I'm saying. If they do that and then like all of a sudden the royal family dies and then Lockjaw like takes the show from there, I think the ratings would go through the roof.
Well, in the comics, Miss Marvel, Kamala Khan, most recently has been given care of Lockjaw because she's an Inhuman in comic books. And part of some of the most fun I've had in comics is reading the panels where she's just walking Lockjaw.
Yeah.
I would watch that show.
I love the mundane things that like they include. It's like this is someone getting their trash, or this is someone going to the gas station or something.
Mm-hmm.
Those behaviors we just don't see in comics. We're always like waiting for them to punch somebody through the moon or something like that. But when you see that, it's like so strange to see normality in it, and it's like it's really delightful.
It's nice.
Yeah, you forget that Peter Parker has to go to the bodega to get 2% milk.
Yeah, exactly.
Absolutely.
It just doesn't show up.
He's got to run some.
He's got to take a nap some days, I would imagine.
Yeah. So yeah, I don't know. If I wasn't going to watch it on TV, I'm not going to IMAX. That's the point.
Yeah. Wasting IMAX time and money.
One thing we have been watching, all of us, and I'm 4 episodes in now. I'm halfway done with The Defenders. You guys are done.
I'm done.
And if we want to talk a little bit more about it on the Thursday show, I'm cool.
Okay.
I'm cool with it.
Okay.
But I thought this article was interesting. So this was on Comic Book Now as well. Stats prove that Iron Fist ruined Marvel's The Defenders. So
wow.
So here's the interesting thing. They have some things to kind of back this up.
I want to save my theory. I'm gonna very daintily talk on this article for myself. I have a big theory, and I think we discussed it last time. What Defenders with Danny Rand. So there's a reason I like the Danny Rand from Defenders better than I like the one in Iron Fist.
Okay. Let me throw some stats at you here.
Throw me some stats.
Okay, so this was a study they did pulling mentions from social media. Top mentions overall from the Defenders, Daredevil got 20%. So he's the most. And obviously, because he's amazing.
That guy, the actor, the character they built, the world they built is beautiful.
He's beautiful.
He is a beautiful animal. He's a really
My
good,
girlfriend agrees with you.
He's a good-looking guy. I'm not going to lie.
He
and I mean, he's But I will say this. He's not like Schwarzenegger big or anything like that.
No, he's not a big dude.
He is an obtainable, picturesque guy. You know,
he's the Andie MacDowell of superheroes.
He is the Andie MacDowell superhero. Does he look good? I don't know. You know, Andie MacDowell superheroes. Hashtag you got Andie MacDowell. Oh, Andie MacDowell, we're sorry.
Well,
not really.
Okay, so coming in at number 2 at 12% is actually Danny Rand and Iron Fist, but here's the twist.
Oh, I'm sure.
The mentions are negative, and people are typically saying something bad about him or saying that he's ruining the show.
Oh.
So while he's the second most mentioned, it's not in a positive way.
I don't think he ruined Defenders.
I don't either.
So then, scrolling down, and this is some more stats, but they titled it "The Unlikable Iron Fist." So it says, poor Danny Rand has had a hard time of things ever since the Iron Fist solo series was released, even though Iron Fist has a much bigger viewership than most fans think. When compared to the rest of the Defenders team's solo series or crossover miniseries, Iron Fist isn't on the same plane. So Daredevil Season 1, 98%, Jessica Jones, 92%, Daredevil Season 2, 74%, Luke Cage, 96%, Iron Fist, 17%. So...
Well, the word got out real quick before it ever went to air.
It really did.
So,
yeah.
I mean, that was the first nail in the coffin, and then as people started watching it, we're like, yeah, this is not working.
Yeah. So, and this is kind of playing on or building towards what you wanted to talk about.
Yeah.
Apparently, most of the blame is placed on the fact that Danny Rand comes off as a petulant child most of the time, has a bad attitude combined with random PTSD flares and silly-sounding lore of Kunlun and the immortal Iron Fist. So it's one of those things that you've talked about before with like some movies, like the lore is like a hard sell.
I was about to say that was my go-to right there. It is hard to sell Kunlun. Number one, I know it's from the comics, but the name of it sounds awful. Yeah. Kung Lung. It doesn't come out well out your mouth. It's almost like you're trying to say Kung Fu and you say lung at the same time because you're about to cough. It's like, oh, sorry, got a little of a climp there. It doesn't work. And then to Landon's referenced it several times. The Hand is not a good enemy. No. It's just not.
It's not interesting.
No, I don't care.
Yeah,
they should have brought the Kingpin in.
It would have been cool to have him as part of this, yeah.
I mean,
it really did kind of feel like that world was missing something when it didn't have the Kingpin in it, when literally everybody else from the Netflix world is playing with each other. You do notice the Kingpin isn't there, and it's kind of weird.
He leaves a big gap.
He does.
His presence was not felt.
Was that a fat joke at the Kingpin's suspense? He's going to kill you.
He's a big dude. He's
Vincent D'Onofrio is going to break you.
I like him. I was not.
He was so good.
He's another one that has successfully turned my opinion. And I was like, when I first saw him, I was like, this is the Kingpin. Boo this man. But as I watched it, I guess he's just that good of an actor, or maybe the writing, whatever the combination was.
I think it was. I think a
beautifully
lot was him.
done.
Yeah,
beautifully done. I mean, he just really good.
Yeah,
I like seeing him. I like hearing him.
He was enjoyable. He brought a level of humanity to Kingpin that I loved.
Yes, exactly. Another attainable person.
Yeah.
So this feels real to me. This person feels real to me. He doesn't feel out of step with the world they built.
His backstory was somewhat hard to watch when they would sprinkle that in. But it also made you kind of be like, wow, this guy's messed up for a reason.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, his School of Hard Knocks was definitely an accelerated course.
Yeah. Advanced program.
Advanced program AP.
AP School of Hard Knocks.
But yeah, I'll save some. I would really like to get into some of the Thursday shows. So
okay, cool. All right, we'll save it because we'll talk more Defenders Thursday.
I want to build on that too.
Cool. So here's where I wanted to end. We knew, because we talked about it previously, that they had announced a Joker origin story. And one of the articles and one of the tweets that we liked, they mentioned that, well, this movie really wants to dig into Joker as a kid. And I said, I think appropriately, is George Lucas behind this?
I did like
you
your
want
comment.
some ice cream?
Yeah, this is
because
did Hayden Christensen phone ring?
I would love to go talk to people who love the Joker and be like, hey, aren't you interested in seeing him as a messed up little kid? No.
You know what'd be great?
I'm not.
Is if they just went askew a little Kevin Smith there, and he wasn't a messed up kid. He had a great life.
Maybe he was great, and
everything was awesome. And then, like his formidable teenage years, bad relationship.
He got in with the wrong crowd.
With the wrong crowd.
But
he got a little methed up. You know what I mean?
I mean, obviously the dude's got a chemical imbalance.
Yeah,
I don't need to see him as a Damien Omen child. I don't need to see that. But here's the thing. It has been pushed as an origin story. We're going to see a young Joker. So can you explain to me why in the world we're hearing that Leonardo DiCaprio is the early favorite to play the Joker? He is not a young boy.
No.
He's not a young man.
No, when I look at him, he is a man.
Dude's in his 40s.
You are a man. Yeah, he's
He's older than Jared Leto. How can
he's the Gatsby.
Yeah, how can it be that this is an origin story and a young Joker if we're going to the old folks' home to pick out our star?
This is what people complained about with the first Spider-Man and Tobey Maguire. They're like, I don't believe he's in high school, and you're not going to believe DiCaprio as a kid. These are things that are not acceptable. I don't know why they picked him. I thought maybe they picked him for a later time. And maybe you don't get the kid, you don't get the little Annie, as your analogy would assume, kid standby there. Which I don't know. I'm on the same field as you, and I think Landon's with us too. Is the whole we don't want this.
I could almost see DiCaprio more of a Harvey Dent, like a Two-Face. I could see him doing that.
That could be interesting.
Or let him grow out that little Selleck thing he's got going on under his nose sometimes, and let him be a Gordon.
Maybe a Commissioner Gordon.
And a young Commissioner Gordon.
He could be a Commissioner Gordon. But the thing about it is...
But again, nothing about Leonardo DiCaprio says young. And if we're going for this whole, young reboot of Gotham, not the show Gotham, by the way.
We already have that.
Exactly. By the way, available season 3 on Netflix. That's what we call a tease for Hot and Streaming on
Go
Thursday.
watch Toddler Batman if you want to.
But it's like... If you're going for a young reboot, Leo DiCaprio might be good as a Harvey Dent, might be good as a Jim Gordon. He's not young, and I don't think whoever you would get to play the Joker opposite of him, if Leonardo DiCaprio is considered young in this universe, what is a quote unquote young Joker going to look like?
Yeah, I don't know. So it just got me thinking because obviously, they don't call me to consult on these sorts of things. I really wish they would, because I've got plenty of thoughts. I think it might be fun to play a little round of fantasy casting here.
Uh-oh.
And just kind of throw out some names. Who would you rather see play the role of Joker in this origin story movie? And I don't mean like small child like pulling from the Disney Channel, because I don't want to see that. But, like, at least...
Jake Lloyd.
Yeah, Jake Lloyd, right.
He did so good as Anakin Skywalker. He could nail it as the Joker.
He's, again, a little too old at this point. And maybe a little crazy.
Perfect!
But that works. Yeah, that kind of works. No, I've got one for you guys. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this one. We've seen him as a bad guy, but I don't think it was the right bad guy. And I know you guys hated it. But I think Jesse Eisenberg...
That's exactly who I was going to say.
...could really play a good Joker.
I don't know. I don't know that he could play a good Joker. I know that.
I mean, that would explain whatever he was trying to go for in Batman versus Superman more than Lex Luthor. Because I mean, like he was a manic Trix Rabbit, and I mean, the Joker is like 3 shades from a manic Trix Rabbit. So,
I've got another interesting choice
bad.
From Silicon Valley.
Oh yeah,
and from The Office.
Yeah.
What about Zach Woods? That long, lanky, crazy dude.
I could see. Yeah, he definitely
he does emotional well.
I mean, he is weird anyway.
He does emotional well,
and he makes people uncomfortable in the shows that he's in. He's always in roles where he makes people feel uncomfortable. I could totally see that.
I got an idea.
Okay.
It's somebody we've also seen as a comic book villain, but I think he actually did a good job in this role. Go from Loki to the Joker. What about Tom Hiddleston?
Yeah, Tom Hiddleston's great, but he's probably.
I'm trying to think of this guy's name. I'm not trying to look him up because I'm horrible at names.
The guys that I'm picking are probably in that same age range, but they look younger. I think Loki looks adult. You know, he looks like a man. right?
I don't know. It's like compared to everybody else in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, I kind of feel like Loki's babyface.
Maybe so. Maybe so.
I mean, they had a guy.
I don't mean babyface in the wrestling sense.
No,
He's a tweener at this point.
Agreed.
A tweener. I don't watch Gotham, but I heard that they introduced a guy really young that kind of branded himself the Joker, or at least the fans did.
I don't watch Gotham, but I have seen the video of this kid. I believe it's from Gotham. It definitely feels like they're trying to paint him as the Joker, but at the same time, it's like the less any Batman property going forward is associated with the show Gotham, I think the better. So, Shout out to Donald Logue, though. I love Donald Logue.
Let's distance ourselves from Gotham.
I can't find this guy.
I haven't had, I kind of feel like Matt because lately I haven't had a lot of Batman things to be proud of. So it's kind of like
that. Now, what would you be referring to me in that context with?
Star Trek.
Oh, okay, yeah. I was about to say, don't hit on my soups because I think Henry Cavill's doing a great job.
Henry Cavill.
I think he's great. I don't get me wrong. I grew up with Christopher Reeve. I still love Christopher Reeve. I'll still watch those corny movies because I like them.
Yeah.
So.
And Richard Pryor was great in it.
Guys, you know what? We missed the mark. There's a perfect Joker out there, and we didn't see it.
Open our eyes.
Open your eyes for Jaden Smith. My eyes! My eyes! Because
no.
Because
shut it down. We got our answer, everybody.
That's exactly what we need. We need that Karate Kid money. We need it. So we just put him in there, and then Will, who is in the DC universe.
That's true.
You got father and son. You got Deadshot, and you got the Joker together.
I hate it.
Who doesn't hate this? That's why DC makes movies, for you to hate.
Yeah, it feels that way sometimes.
No, I do feel sorry for them. I feel like, I don't know. I feel like they're the little brother of comics right now. They're going to grow up. They're going to be cool. But right now, man, they're making some serious mistakes.
Mm-hmm. Ooh, I have another idea for the Joker.
Hit it.
John Goodman.
God.
I'll only accept
He's busy with Roseanne, okay?
Yeah.
Roseanne's coming back,
Holy
everybody.
crap. Can we turn Roseanne into a DC Universe comic?
Might as well. There's going to be 2 Beckys. There might as well be.
Wow. You know what? They have got some real Pandora box problems, don't they?
Yeah. I was going to bring something up. You mentioned Henry Cavill.
I did.
Earlier we were talking about how much we love Daredevil, Charlie Cox.
Yes.
Did you know that they were in a movie together?
Charlie Cox.
Really?
Wait. Now, I don't know this, but I'm going to take a swing and a miss on this, but was it The Man from U.N.C.L.E.?
No, it was not. It was older than that.
Oh, God.
It's been a while. It actually came out in 2007. Oh, I should bring up the Rotten Tomatoes reviews and see if you guys can guess it.
Oh, well, we already know it's 2007.
It's a sci-fi fantasy movie.
Okay.
I can tell you that.
In 2007? Was it Jupiter Ascending? Just kidding.
That's a good guess, but no.
Well, I just thought about werewolves and rocket skates.
That was a...
Though, to be fair, when are you not thinking of werewolves and rocket skates, man?
Every day.
Gosh, that's like my waking thought. I was like,
good morning, world.
That's right. Wish I was a werewolf with rocket skates and get to work quicker.
So this is going to be kind of fun just because I don't think you guys are going to be able to guess this, but I want to know what you throw out as answers.
Zathura.
No.
It was up on my screen.
Stardust.
Oh, boom. Landon guessed it without me.
Wait, nice. Good job, man. Wait.
Is that one review?
Is that a Neil Gaiman?
No, it's not.
That's not his movie?
No.
That's not his story or whatever, Stardust?
I don't think so.
Check it for me.
I'm checking.
Because Neil Gaiman actually has his name all over some stuff that I did not know about.
Yeah, that's a Neil Gaiman.
It is.
Okay.
So that's the guy that has brought you American Gods.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. It is. Same Neil Gaiman. I can't believe I got that.
Yeah, you're right.
Man, go buy some lottery tickets today.
A faithful interpretation that captures the spirit of whimsy, action, and off-kilter humor of Neil Gaiman's Stardust juggles multiple genres and tones to create a fantastical experience. If you haven't seen this movie, first of all, you're missing out because it's good. It's kind of a hidden gem. I don't think
it's one of the ones that's on my list that I never... I don't know. I don't commit to it.
It features people such as Claire Danes, Michelle Pfeiffer, Robert De Niro, Ricky Gervais, not to mention Charlie Cox and Henry Cavill, Peter O'Toole.
There's got to be somebody in here I don't like.
And it was directed and co-written by Matthew Vaughn, so that's really cool too.
What's he done?
Most recently, Kingsman.
Oh, okay. Oh man, I did finally get to watch Kingsman, and that was delightful.
He's also responsible for X-Men: Days of Future Past and First Class.
What about the guy?
And Layer Cake. Layer Cake rocks.
I've never seen Layer Cake.
Oh, you need to see Layer Cake.
Eddie the Eagle. He was the producer on that one.
Eddie the Eagle wasn't bad.
Kick-Ass 2. So he's done some interesting stuff. He did Kick-Ass. He was director, screenwriter, and producer for Kick-Ass.
Oh,
yeah.
that one was good.
And he was.
I was going to say he might have actually. No, Brian K. Vaughan wrote. Never mind.
Snatch. He produced Snatch.
Wow.
So this guy.
Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels. Y'all heard?
Yeah. So there you go.
There's some good ones.
He's been involved in some cool stuff. So yeah, go check out Stardust, everybody. That's my plug for.
And Layer Cake. Layer Cake's awesome.
Layer Cake, if you haven't seen that one. And then throw Snatch in there. Have a triple feature.
Is that is that got James Bond in it? Daniel Craig.
Yes. That was actually the big role Daniel Craig had right before his first Bond came out and hit it big. So if you like Daniel Craig Bond, definitely check out Layer Cake.
I liked Daniel Craig in Harry Potter. He was my favorite. Oh wait, that was Daniel Radcliffe.
Oh, I liked him.
There for a second he had me. I was like, what?
I liked him in Force Awakens.
All British people look alike.
You didn't know it was him.
I did not. You actually told me.
I didn't know it if I hadn't looked it up.
You told me. He's like, did you know Daniel Craig? I was like, where at? I didn't see anyone get punched in the mouth and thrown out the door. Someone gets spaced.
It's pretty awesome that, and it's true with, this happened with Twin Peaks, that people, when they did the reboot, people were just begging to be in it. Can I just be in it in some way?
It's that nostalgia thing.
So Star Wars comes up, and you've got a guy like Daniel Craig, James Bond, who's like, yeah, I'll be in it, in a Stormtrooper costume.
You'll never know it's me.
You'll never know it's me.
Yep.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
He's a good actor, so it's like he's not going to botch his part,
I would be in a crowd scene where they only showed my left ankle.
My left ankle.
It really seems like that's a popular trend in Hollywood, because in Game of Thrones, the Metal Man Mastodon has
That's
shown
exactly what I was going to say.
As zombie White Walkers. I'm trying to think. And the most recent Planet of the Apes movies, Hollywood, famous actors and actresses would just call and be like, "Hey, can I just be a faceless random monkey? Put me on a blue screen and just let me be a monkey." So
be a rando.
The chick who plays Kitty Sanchez on Arrested Development is credited as a faceless monkey in the latest Apes movie. So.
Well, speaking of the latest Apes movie, this is something I meant to mention. War for the Planet of the Apes is getting pushed as an Oscar nominee for Best Picture. Can you believe that?
I haven't seen it.
I saw it. I can. That's an amazing movie.
I would imagine so. Like I said, it's the premise that's not believable to me. But I do want to go back, and I want to watch the first one, the second one, and then watch this one just to have it. Like I said, I can't buy that we can't defeat monkeys. But then again, I watch zombie movies, so I guess I'm my own worst enemy.
Zombies are scarier than monkeys.
Yeah, but most of the ones I watch are mindless, so they're just like what I call bullet fodder. So.
Yeah, I was going to say a bunch of bullet fodder versus a handful of smart apes that can use weapons against you.
Well, yeah, they have strategies. And I guess that's what maybe I need to really wrap my mind around, is that these aren't just like unthinking, gun-toting minions. These are actually strategizing, weapon-owning, primates.
Society.
An actual society that is building, So,
well, I'm going back, just kind of looking back through the last 10 years, 20 years of Oscar Best Picture winners, because I was curious, when's the last time we've had a movie that's like a fantasy or a sci-fi or something like that
Probably
win
never.
for Best Picture? It's happened.
Titanic.
Well,
no, probably one of the Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, you're right. It's Lord of the Rings: Return of the King in 2003 won Best Picture.
Because why do you think Return of the King won? Because of all the battle scenes?
It was a visual spectacle.
Yeah.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I thought the first one was a lot better in story and put together. I mean, they were all great, but I thought the first one really gave you what you expected out of it, and the third one was like battle.
Yeah.
And
it was the payoff to two big epic
it was a big
stories.
payoff. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was well done.
No, I'm not saying I don't want to diminish it. I'm just saying if I were to give an award to one of them, it would have been the first one. But I guess maybe the competition during the first one might have been a little bit
maybe
more
so. Yeah,
heated.
That's a possibility. Well, and it's like even here recently, and this caught me very off guard. Mad Max Fury Road got nominated for Best Picture, and it's like I love Mad Max, but I never, especially Fury Road, but I never thought in 1,000 years that it would be nominated for Best Picture.
It deserved it.
Well, I will say it brought us back to that world. And you talk about a sequel very, very far departed from its, original movies.
And no. The Departed won in 2006.
It did. No, but I mean, it was way out there as far as like a sequel coming out of nowhere, and it brought us back to that world, and it did a great job, I thought. I mean, me and Justin went and saw it, and
we were so into that movie.
Oh God, yeah, we were.
Oh yeah.
It was going like that was like the feeling of going to like a rock show.
It was.
I felt like.
I'll totally agree with you. It's like, man, do you remember the part when?
Yeah,
it could be the guy with the flame guitar too that really brought it home.
That's true.
That.
The Doof Warrior.
I threw up the horns every time he was up.
He's
there.
Like, woo! Justin, put your hand down. You can't do that.
Every army of like post-apocalyptic, like crazy, they all need a dude rocking out like on bungee cords with an electric guitar and flames bursting out behind him.
What if he was on? What if
amazing.
the opposing army had drums and it was like shooting up fireworks every time he was playing?
That actually a really good defense.
Yeah.
Firework drums, I'm calling it trademark.
Yep, landed on trademark.
Well, that was all I wanted to bring to the table this week, guys. Is there anything before we wrap up the Tuesday show that you guys feel like we need to talk about, or anything I missed?
It's with all this movie talk, I think this is kind of an appropriate time and question to bring it up. I saw articles this week claiming that this past weekend, the box office performance was the worst box office performance since the weekend after the September 11th terrorist attack. So I'm like, and we're coming up on the 10-year anniversary of that. So this is the worst box office performance in the last decade that hasn't been impacted by a terrorist attack. So, and looking at the stuff that's number 1 and number 2 and number 3 at the box office, I can't say I'm really that surprised, but it really is kind of surprising that we're seeing this type of performance, especially in this summer movie season where it started so hot and heavy. And I'm kind of curious why you guys think we're seeing this massive crater now.
I'll tell you why. Because I think earlier in the summer, there were weeks where there were 2-3 movies at a time that were coming out that were all like huge, big releases that people wanted to go see. Mm-hmm. I can remember there was a week in the summer that I was talking to my wife about it, and I was like, my wife. And I was like, there are like 5 movies that I want to go see right now. And, I think we ended up going, out of all of those, the only one I got to see so far was Spider-Man Homecoming. But I
haven't seen that.
But it was up against things like, Baby Driver and, gosh, I can't think of the list right now. But there were several. And I'm just looking at like the August 2017 releases. The things, August 25th was a huge release date. I wasn't interested in seeing All Saints or Birth of the Dragon or Leap or Wind River or, I don't
know what half of those things you just said are.
Yeah, seriously.
Sounds like nonsense.
The one that
those are nonsense words. I know they're all words, but
the one that made the most money was Wind River, and I've heard actually that's really good, but it wasn't, that wasn't my thing.
Dunkirk was a big one that came out, but it was 2 weeks ago?
Yeah, I think that was like the same time as some of these others that I was talking about.
Yeah, and I don't know, war movies seem to win over just in general.
Yeah, Dunkirk, and that's one of those movies, too, that I think people wanted to see on the big screen. Those visuals, that movie, really had an impact just from a visceral experience seeing it on especially, that's an IMAX movie. Yeah, you go see that movie in IMAX.
Movie, yeah.
And didn't they have special screenings of Dunkirk in 35 millimeter?
Yeah. That's what they should have done. They should have put Inhumans as one of those, like, when the lights are still on. And you're going to Dunkirk, and it's like, hey, if you get here 20 minutes early, you can watch the new Inhumans. That way you're sure to miss it, and you can just get some popcorn.
Yeah. So look at June. If you look at June, in the theater all at the same time were things like Wonder Woman, The Mummy.
Which is still making money.
Cars 3, Transformers The Last Night, Baby Driver, Despicable Me 3. All these movies came out in June and were competing against each other. Now, they came out, it was spread out throughout the month, but, these weren't movies that were in for a week or two. They were in for the entire month. And I don't know. I think that, and then you go to July, Spider-Man Homecoming, War for the Planet of the Apes, The Big Sick, Dunkirk, Girls Trip was a big one. Valerian came out. Atomic Blonde. Oh, and the Emoji Movie, too. You know, people were spending their money on that. Dark Tower came out.
Dark Tower, I was going to say.
At the beginning of August. So I think that it was one of those things where this was a very blockbuster-heavy summer, in my opinion. Mm-hmm. There were a ton of things that came out that were really dipping into the pockets. And for those of us who didn't have Movie Pass, I missed a lot of these. I didn't get to go see all of them. So
these are all going to be red boxes.
You know, and so if I'm not getting out to go see, because I didn't get to go see War for the Planet of the Apes, I'm not going to go see what came out here at the end of August. And I think, and you know, factor in back to school and all this other kind of stuff.
Yeah, that's true.
So
summer vacations are wrapping up.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like everything that you just rattled off, those were big movies, and they came early in the summer. It really feels like all of the blockbusters and heavy hitters were all front-loaded for the summer. It almost feels like a studio missed an opportunity, because if you look at, I mean, the stuff that's at the top of the box office right now, if you saved one of those big AAA movies and dropped it, you know, second week in August, it would probably still be cleaning up number one at the box office right now.
Coming up this weekend,
Yeah.
That's going to be the big one.
I think that's going to be a big movie.
It is, but there are so many people I know that I'm like, oh, you guys going to see it? No way, I don't watch scary movies.
Yeah, my girlfriend's one of those. Like she freaks
out
lot of people. When the trailer comes on. It's like,
it's like a perfect storm for people with phobias right now. Yeah. You know, it's like clowns and a horror movie. Mm-hmm. Two things people are avoiding.
It's getting some pretty good reviews so far from the critical early reviews that have been coming in. People are saying that, you know, it's well done, it's scary, it's pretty true to the first part of the book, because it doesn't cover the whole book. It's them. It's because this is really just them
we talked about this earlier. It's just staying with them as kids, and I told you I think that's to capture kind of the same audience that Stranger Things had, because. When you see a kid being terrorized, you're more...
It's a more emotional response.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So, and then an adult, and you're just like, what a wimp, you know?
Yeah, sometimes you want the adults to die.
Oh, man. Let me tell you something. I wish The Purge had went a different way. I'm just saying.
Right?
So,
yeah, I keep giving the kids a hard time, because my birthday is coming up next Saturday, and I'm like, all I want for my birthday, guys, just take me to it. And my son's like, no, like just appalled that I would even say such a thing.
I think you're going to get dropped off is what's going to happen. They're going to see the emoji movie, and then
I want to see it with my family. Yeah, that'll probably be a red box for me or something. But I want to see it. I'm interested. I still remember. I mean, it's a movie I saw. The TV movie, the TV version is something that I can remember seeing being a very small child, and it left quite an impression.
Oh yeah, I mean I liked it a lot. I was like, man, this is a really creepy movie. But it didn't I don't know, it didn't leave the impression of like, oh, I need to look down every sewer drain. I know people who do, you know, because of that movie. And I don't know, I really liked it more or less. Like, man, that was really scary, but it didn't like dement me.
Oh, something we forgot to mention that's going on this weekend. It'll be over by the time our episodes drop, but it's Dragon Con weekend.
Oh, it's true. That's true.
Oh, yeah, Nerd Mardi Gras. That's right.
Yeah, it's going on.
I was almost over the fact that I'm not there, so thank you for plunging me back into a deep depression.
Just thought I'd remind you, man. Just
what's your mission?
Yeah. So
hold on, I got to go put on my beast costume now. It's how I cope.
Well, as we're kind of coming to the conclusion of this episode, what I want to say is, if you guys happen to be down there, if anybody, any of our listeners are part of this, put pictures on the forum. Tell us what you experienced. Tell us what you're going to see, or tweet to us. You know, send us emails, whatever. We got a lot of different options. So, you know, Twitter @nerd_news_cafe. The forum you can get to through our website, nerdnewscafe.com. It's at the bottom. You can find a link. It'll take you right there. Facebook fan page, emails nerdnewscafe@gmail.com. You know, of course, you can interact with us on anything we discuss or anything you want us to discuss. But yeah, if you're hitting up conventions, even if it's not Dragon Con, something local,
anything,
you know, let us know. Send us pictures of the costumes you wear or the costumes you see.
Absolutely.
You know, tell us about your experience.
I mean, we got pictures from Force Your Dollars into Register Friday.
Oh, we did see that. Force Friday #2. And by the way, it struck me. So Eric was taking advantage of Force Friday to Eric Lehman.
It seemed like there was a preemptive buy that got denied too that made me made me laugh. They were like, we can't sell that right now. Don't put it on the shelf.
Yeah, don't put it out.
Yeah. Exactly. I kind of feel like that's on you, Mr. Retailer.
Exactly. Yeah. But he picked up Old Man Luke, and I the first thing I thought of when I saw it was, that's the dude.
That was an appropriate call. That was appropriate.
So, yeah, if you pick up toys, what'd you get? There's a new BB-8. It's an evil BB-8. Have you seen it?
Evil BB-8.
It's like BB-9E
Is
or
it
something.
easy square?
He's got his head's not as round. It's flat on top. It's like a flat top. Yeah. It's the Empire's version of the BB.
And also, isn't there some new cute monster from the Star Wars movies?
Hold off. Let's hold off on that.
Okay, sorry. I did not mean to step on anything.
Because let me just tell you something. I might have a thing or two to say about that.
Somebody wants
on
to
Thursday.
Somebody wants to really get out some emotions on Thursday.
Would we say that's another tease for Thursday's Hot and Streaming?
Could be.
Whatever the we call that show.
I don't even know anymore. I just show up and start talking.
Press record, Jay. Let's start this.
Yeah, what are we doing?
Sorry. Oh, hold on. Let me hit the intro, and then Landon, you can do your plugs. Hold on. Hit it.
What the
Landon Doan, focused on his job.
Come on, man. Plug your Game of Thrones podcast. This is your music bed.
All the knobs, he screams.
I think he's in shock.
Walking the halls, Landon Doan.
Here comes the second verse.
Actually.
Landon Doan, basement elf lord boy. Landon Doan, his middle name is Roy. His dragon campaign puts the X-Men to shame. Landon Doan, Landon Doan.
Oh my God, this is the greatest song ever.
Wow, that
Landon
was
Doan, ladies and gentlemen.
a callback. I haven't heard that song in a couple of years. That's when I, Landon Doan, had my own theme song. Suck it, everybody.
You still have one.
You still have it. It's out
It's
there.
never going away.
It's in the stratosphere.
That is true. Yeah, thank you, the internet.
And now that's
You're going to have to tell me where you found that.
I never reveal my secrets.
Fair enough. As a journalologist, I respect that.
I did a little editing, too. It sounded pretty smooth. I cut the middle part out just because it did reference your old job, and I was like, that might be a sore spot. Let's just
I was going to say, there was a line where it talked about how I made Phil sound good, which, believe me, that was really, really hard. But no, I'm kidding, Phil B. I love you. But yeah, thank you for breaking that out. It's a oldie for me.
Sure. I didn't know you were just going to let it roll. I thought you'd be, like, inspired and just be, like, plugging over top of it. But I think you just wanted to kind of take it in there, didn't you?
Yeah, you caught me by surprise, so good on that. But, I guess if this is the part where I do my plugs, follow me on Twitter, twitter.com/Landoz, LANDOZ. We will be having a final episode of Season 7 of Game of Thrones Talk, a.k.a. GOT Talk, posts on buttonmunchchips.com. Hopefully next week. I had a little bit of computer issues which delayed our recording this past week. So myself and Hunter East will give you our thoughts on how HBO wrapped up Season 7 heading into the final season of Game of Thrones, and that drops at buttonmunchchips.com. Of course, Button Munch Chips. Sit on your button munch.
nice.
Matt?
Well, we released another... when I say we, I have a partner in this game or shame, as you want to look at it. Tracking Trek podcast. Me and Thomas Walker are doing a review of the show once it comes out. Right now, we're just looking through trailers. We're talking about some of the stuff that's coming out, kind of going over the different worlds. His perspective is all Kelvin universe. He has never seen not a one, not a glimpse, not even a hint of the Prime universe whatsoever. So it is entertaining to hear how wrong he is. So no,
you're such a supportive co-host.
I am. I'm such a good guy, and no, he comes with a different view, and I appreciate it. And like I said, we're going to go bi-weekly, so we just don't start randomly talking about our days. As we run out of content. But the show comes on the 24th at 8:30. And so from there on, we'll be reviewing the show. So you can find the Twitter at Tracking Trek Pod, or you can email us at trackingtrekpodcast@gmail.com.
It's always nice to have a partner in crime, so you don't feel as much of a crazy person, just kind of rattling on to yourself.
The show was a little longer, yes.
Plus, with a partner in crime, if something sucks, you can be like, it wasn't my fault, it was him.
Absolutely. Everybody needs a fall guy.
Heck, yes.
Thomas, new to podcasting, did a great job, because I did listen to that first episode. He did awesome. I mean, the first with him.
Yeah.
Some people call him Thomas Walker. I call him Thomas Adat. That's my choice. Yeah.
Thomas. No, he has a different perspective. It's interesting to hear somebody who doesn't understand what they're trying to capture, but at the same time, it all looks familiar to him.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
It's interesting.
And I think that's what they're going for.
I think so, too. And we do go over that. So if you want to hear that explanation and thought process, you can listen.
Yep. Sounds good. I don't have anything else to plug except for my Twitter. @TheCroots.
@TheCroots.
Yep. But we've teased enough for Thursday that I think people should come back and get the payoff, I think.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
The peyote payoff.
So come back for Stir It Up. I guess there's going to be peyote.
I just think that this show would be a lot more laughable if you had peyote, but if you do not, it's still funny.
Unfortunately, I don't.
Sounds like we're going to need it for Thursday's show.
But we might.
You seem very distressed about your
not distressed.
His teasing.
Fired up. A little fired up. We'll see. So if you would like to come back and see how that turns out, I invite you to join us on Thursday. I already plugged all our stuff, so I guess at this point I'll just say until next time.
In transmission.